Okay. I'm not really sure if that works. Okay. All right. Looks like I'm live. Amazing. So good. I'm super excited, a little bit nervous actually. Feels a little bit like having a talk or going on stage. I don't know why. But yeah, that's cool. I'm just thinking, going to that folder, making it large, and I'm waiting for, okay. Oh wow, nice. We have already 18 people watching the stream. Hey, so good to have you here. Hello, Tamim. It's so nice that you you made it before your Danish class. So cool. Hey, Cedric. Hey, Jill. Nice. I have, I'm currently in Berlin in a hotel, and I'm doing this in a very improvised way. Actually, I don't have a second screen here, which is really, really strange. I have to really improvise a lot, but that's fine. I think that's really cool. It's a very lean setup this time. So disconnect that. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's great to have you here. I'm super excited. I think live streaming is something I had on my list since a very long time, and I was just speaking with a friend about how can I get more engagement in the community, because it's really nice. We have this Discord channel, and we also have the Patreon channel where people can comment my posts. Hey everyone, nice to see you all joining. That's so cool. Great. Hey Laverna, hey Nico. Wow. Hey. Yeah, I think, and then I made a survey via Google Forms, and the result was that I guess there must be something more engaging for people that learn creative coding, right? So mostly I just release my courses on my platform on timrodenbröker.de, which is the place where my patrons learn creative coding with me. So if you haven't signed up, think about it. Maybe that could be beneficial if you want to learn creative coding. Go to timrodenbröker.de. And this is an experiment to see if we can have a little bit more engagement. And this is already going very well. So there are already so many comments. This is amazing. Great, awesome. And we've got a very, very nice thing we're going to do today. Gotta drink something. Because, oh, maybe you also saw that I've created a new, let's say, an identity for the stream. It's called trustTheProcess. Let me just lose a few words about that. So I've been studying. I've just made a master, and I created kind of a, let's say, a reflection on my thoughts on creative coding, what it actually is, what it could be, and so on. And I analyzed the learning process with a lot of help by the amazing doctoral thesis by my friend Sigmund Hansen, who's maybe watching today. Mostly he's in the streams, so I don't know. But this helped me a lot to understand what kind of challenges come when you are coding with, or when you learn creative coding. It's a really, really steep learning curve. Many of you maybe know that. It's really difficult to learn in the beginning. But there is, it's really worth it. Even if the learning curve in the beginning is super steep, if you just come to a specific point, and some people call it the threshold, then everything makes sense, and it's much, much easier. And it's like climbing up a wall and seeing the sacred land of possibilities. That's how I explain it to my to my students mostly. And trusting the process is something that is really important, because in the beginning you don't know how long it will take, and you don't know how thick this piece of wood is that you try to drill through. Maybe some of you, hello, I stick. Great. And I think trusting the process is something super important to understand that there's something behind that valley that you have to climb up. And for me, it's also, I try to make my videos and my streams in a way that I show you how imperfect I am actually, right? So how much I struggle with these coding problems myself, because I'm not a born mathematician, and I've actually been very bad in math when I was a child. I am pretty much a mediocre mathematic person, and but I learned it because I pushed through, and I still struggle with some basic principles sometimes. And this is something that I find valuable to learn, to keep on pushing even if it's difficult. Sometimes maybe a live stream will end in a situation where I say, hey, I can't go on, I don't know how to fix this, or we have to move on next time. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I think super valuable, and I try to communicate this and to transport this through my videos and through my course platform, right? It is applicable to so many things in life. So learning is something that should be fun and not something that holds you back from achieving your goals. And sometimes you have to push through and just do it and do your homework. And but when you resonate with a topic, I think this is a foundational requirement. When you think, wow, this is something I would like to learn, then you have everything together you need to go your individual learning path, right? All right, cool. So that's Trust the Process. Just also check out the teaser. I'm going to cut these live streams and upload them to my Patreon channel. I'm going to edit them, or I will ask someone to edit them. And then they will be released on my Patreon channel then on Saturday, which is super exciting. Fred, Nico, Pete and his wife. And yeah, we will have some good time here in Berlin, I think. And on Sunday, I'm going to Barcelona because I'm looking for a flat there. So but this is the website, and this is the new stream site here. I added a point in the menu. It is not really finished. It's just, very early prototype thing. But the cool thing is here, look, you can, I don't know why you have to load it, but there's a calendar that I just created, and I'm going to release all the dates of the live streams here on my calendar. So you will be always up to date. You can even subscribe to it, which is super useful if you use Google Calendar. Just click this link and it will just add the live streams to your calendar if you use Google Calendar. So it is super handy. And also here's the link to open the live stream on YouTube. It will always be the same address, I think. I'm not really sure if that works, but yeah, let's see. All right, perfect. Okay, let's talk about today's brief. Maybe you know that I'm pretty interested in history and, and things that just happened, also from a technological point of view, of course. I'm really excited. Well, actually, I wrote my bachelor thesis in communication design in 2013, 10 years ago, and it was called Weißt du noch? That is German and means, do you still remember? And it was a series of interviews I did with people from my personal surroundings and also people I admired. I asked some quite famous designers like Eike König, for example, to answer some questions about their subjective, because I just wanted to understand what kind of time is this that I'm living in. And maybe there's something on, let me just see. I think there's an article on Slanted. Let me just check it. Here's Design Made It. Was the book, and this is a pretty nice page. It says history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. That's what Mark Twain said once. And this is the question, like, what is the time that I'm living in? And this was the table of contents in the form of a data visualization, or more like a timeline. So you see, this is the 80s, the 90s, and the what is it called? The zeros? I don't know. So each of these decades get a specific color. And I was speaking to different people about specific things. So this is Eike König, but I blurred all the images to make it a little bit more like, I also didn't use the names of the people because I wanted other people to identify a little bit maybe with these personalities. I argued that with the how's it called? Der Brechtsche Verfremdungseffekt means that you blur, that you make things a little bit strange to create a distance between the viewer and the object. It's really interesting psychology, often used in theater. This is, for example, my uncle. He was writing about the breakdown of the Soviet Union. This is my professor. He also wrote about it. Yeah, 2001, 2012. So, of course, 9/11 here. The thing is that my my professor was in New York when this happened, and yeah, this was very intense. A friend of mine, how she this is Ruth, how she experienced the Arab Spring. Me again. So that was a really nice project. Yeah, it was really nice. I definitely totally enjoyed making this project and to understand what kind of things happened in the time when I was a child. A crazy project. Just checking the chat quickly. Oh, Imen Hadira Misum, thank you so much for these great words. Wow, so nice. Oh yeah, Stick, you're right. I gotta record a copy locally, of course. I missed that last time, and oh my goodness, I have to record it also because the YouTube quality often is very poor. So now I hit record as well on OBS. Great. Okay, I see that the stream is bad. Oh my goodness. Oh shit, that's not nice. The thing is, I see that here's a wireless. I don't have a cable here. That's the problem. Maybe I can connect to my phone, but well, how bad is it? How bad is the connection? Can you rate it between, let's say, 0 is really bad and 10 is very good? Let me see. Can you rate it between, let's say, 0 is really bad and 10 is very good? Okay. It's a 7. All right. Okay, yeah. As I said, this is a very improvised stream. Actually, I didn't know that I'm going to Berlin so early, and I also, I just planned to do this from home, and actually, Nico, Fred, and Pete and his wife wanted to visit me in Paderborn, in the place where I live, but we just switched it to Berlin, so I'm here, and yeah, we have to deal with it, I fear. And I'm recording everything, and I will cut this together and share it on my Patreon. Okay? Amazing. Sometimes it stops. All right. Let's see if we get through this. All right. Okay. So, oops. After a few years, after finishing my bachelor thesis, I was creating a project I called Lifeline, and I was already doing a lot of creative coding, and I did this in the creative coding days that I organized together with Ria Stroos in her house in the northern Netherlands. Super nice event. We were about, I think, maybe 12 people or 15 people there, maybe more. I don't remember because we did this three times and it was always really nice. So coding on the countryside in a very nice country house. And there I met Luis Ferreira. And before I already created... So the data is not up to date. But that shouldn't be a problem. So it ends at 2019. But this is a database of all the events that happened in my life. Well, of course, it's not complete, but yeah, it's actually compiling the things that are influence on my life. And there are two different layers, like the global layer and the private layer. So these are things that had influence to my personal life. Let's see where's something private. For example, my first day at school. Here, this is me. First day with 6 years old, right? I was super nervous, I guess. And this is a global event. This was the the release of the Netscape Navigator web browser. So that means we, I was just collecting all this data, and this was a lot of fun. Actually, I didn't actually do it for having a database or something. It was a really nice, let's say, a retrospective and seeing what kind of events had influence onto my life. So I learned a lot about myself. For example, I started my career, my professional life as a nurse in a hospital in Cologne when I was 19. There was not a good decision, I think, because I was not really suitable for this job. But I was planning to become a social worker or something like that. And I was working in this hospital. This was my room here in Cologne. Look at this old PC. Great, right? I created a lot of electronic music there. That was my improvised little studio. So that was super cool. My bike trip, my first bike trip from Paderborn to Amsterdam. There was also an opportunity to just go to the archives and collect a lot of material, and even ask my father and my parents and my friends if they have something like, photos that I can use. So here, living in Münster when I studied. Look at me here. That's cool. I was also doing a lot of music. Yeah, so this is my life as a database. Great, right? And I was thinking about, I want to work with it. I want to create something with that, and that's when I decided to, when I already was working with creative coding for some time, I decided to, do a project out of this. I was not that much skilled, but I met Luis Ferreira, who is a great creative technologist. I think he's based in Eindhoven. Basically I think he's from Lisbon or from Portugal. And he's a Java developer as well. So he was there at the creative coding days, and he helped me to build this application that generates this timeline. Let's take a look at it. So as you can see in the beginning, it goes through all these years. And in the beginning of my life, there was not a lot of material because I didn't have, the photos and the material. So, but it gets more. Adobe Photoshop was invented here. The fall of the Berlin Wall. The Nintendo Game Boy has been invented or released, and here blue is the global level and red is the private level. And actually this is a very abstract way to color these photos. You cannot see much on them, but yeah. I guess you cannot hear the music. So in the background there's some ambient music going on, like just a soothing wavy sound. Yeah, let's move to the future a bit. Here we go. So 2014, there's a lot of photo material, of course, right? Me as a musician and so on. That was beautiful. That was really a great project. And I was thinking about creating a new version of it since quite a long time, because dealing with my past is something very important in my life. So to think about this question, I'm still thinking about this question: what kind of times I'm living in, like every day, and also my master thesis. Just takes this question further and asks what can creative coding do to give us, or if creative coding can serve as a tool for a more reflected attitude on today's technologies and so on, right? So, but yeah, that was a really cool project. So in the last week I was getting an email by someone. I was in a university in Scotland, and I was giving a workshop there, and he said, we have seen your Lifeline project and we want to create something like a similar visualization. I don't want to tell you too much about it because it's kind of a secret, I guess. But yeah, that's why I just decided to create a prototype in a very simple way with processing, not this super over-engineered way we created it here. We used IntelliJ, and that was so weird. WordPress is, it's really heavy. Advanced custom fields. We created a headless, like a REST API for WordPress, and yeah, there was too much tech in the background. So it can be much, much easier. We will use Google Sheets for the data, and I already prepared it, and we will use processing to import that data. And actually we can start now. Let's just see what's going on in the chat. So, okay, Limt is writing. Oh, Omid is also here. Hey, Omid, nice to have you here. So cool. Limt, you write, that reminds you a lot of Muriel Cooper's Information Landscapes. Let's put that into the show notes as a note for me to look that up. That's super handy. Informational landscapes. Saved. Okay. Great. Hello, Matthäus. Yeah. And so that means we are going to write the data into a Google Sheet, and I already did that. So let's take a look. And it's possible that we won't be finished with the project today. We already, I'm already talking since half an hour, but I will maybe just move on with that project in the next stream. So this is not going, I'm just going to start live streaming now and doing it on a more regular basis. So I just stripped the whole data down. I didn't want to make it too complicated. Just want a very, very simple prototype. I even don't want to separate between private and global events now. It just should be a timeline in a three-dimensional space with that data here. So what is that data that I just collected? Mostly these are things from the sphere of technological progress, in quotes. So these are the things that I had in my Lifeline project as well for new technologies coming up, and of course the Tamagotchi shouldn't be missed here in this list. Yeah, so there's no meta information about this. This is a very very raw piece of data, and actually it's probably not. It's not sufficient. It's not scientific. It's just a raw set of data that we can use and as a template. So what I can do in Google Sheets is I can go to download and say download it as a CSV file. So what is a CSV file? Let me just name this file. I will call it Lifeline data, or just data.csv. Already exists. Go to the desktop live stream, copy it in here. That's it. So a CSV file is actually, it's called comma-separated comma. And when you place a comma into that text, this becomes the next column, right? And this is super handy because actually you can export every Excel document to a format that you can load into other applications. So it's a very nice format to importing and exporting data. And we will use that. I will just delete that row. Maybe I keep it in. I think in processing I can address these things then by name. Let's try that. Okay, I will keep it in. And now I will create a new processing sketch. And then I have to think about how to build this application with you together. Maybe you can help me. Okay. Just reading the sketch, the chat, sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Omid. You say that you liked the live database. Yeah, it was, I'm really happy that I did it, actually, that I took the time to do it. It was really a little bit of struggle, but yeah, I really started to understand more what kind of time I'm living in. And was the question that kept me busy for some time. Stig writes, I believe you can also publish your Google Sheet as a CSV and load the data from an URL. That way you don't have to deal with local files. Oh, that's also a very nice thing. Let's try that. So maybe we start with a local file and then we can see if Stig's hint works as well. So what is the best way to do this? I think I will just hook up a very simple sketch now, and I will try just to load the table into the processing application here, okay? I will adjust the font size to make it readable for you. And I will just create a very simple sketch here. Void setup, void draw, set the size, even though it's not important right now. But hey, let's do this properly, just how I do it every time. The fundamental values. Okay, cool. Now, there's, let's see, load as CSV. Don't confuse it with SVG, that's something different. In processing. And here, load table, that's the function we need to use. Okay, cool. So there's an object in processing that's called table. And we that's very, very handy. So yeah, actually a CSV file is a table. So that's fantastic. We can just use that and put it into our setup function here. And that loads the table. I think this is a setting. Let's just look it up by double-clicking the function name and hitting Command-Shift-F to go to the processing reference and look up what that means. So header, yeah, options. Look, that's cool. So header probably means that we have a header that we can address. Yeah, look. So here it's, okay, cool. Look, so here it's creating the variable, and here it's loading the CSV file into that object. Here it prints the amount of rows, so the amount of lines in the table, and here it loops through all these rows with a, yeah, this is, I don't know how that's called, maybe some of you know how that kind of for loop is called, where you loop through an array of objects. Well, actually, yeah, no, yeah, an array of objects, of course. So I don't know, that's a special way of writing a for loop. Here it gets a specific column by addressing the header information. So row.getInt says get an integer from the row, from the column ID, right? So here string species says row get string, so get a piece of text from the column species. And string name equals to row get string name. This is really, really handy. Actually, it's really, really helpful. And here it just prints all these values to the console. Very nice. That's cool. Processing is such a great tool, right? It's just has all these functions that we need here. Actually, I often think about processing as a Swiss Army knife, because if you work with data and processing, especially like JSON objects and so on, it's a little bit clunky. It feels, you know, not super convenient, but it works. And that's the most important thing. It's not like a very highly professional fish knife when you cook something, or I don't know. It's more like a Swiss Army knife with all the things you need to do basic tasks, right? I love that about processing. It's super cool. For each loop. Thank you, Cedric. It's called a for each loop here. Okay, cool. Well, that's great. Actually, we can we can just copy paste that code from here to print line the things in here. Let's just copy paste the whole thing here. Exactly, Stick. That's true. A header is the first line in the CSV file, and let's just take a look at it. Going into it here. So this is the header, and this defines how these columns are called. Maybe we can look at it in the table again. So this is the header, like title, year, month, and day, right? So these are the titles, these are the years, and so on. And we can address these columns like with these keywords, like title, year, month, and day. Okay, cool. Of course, we have to change these values here. So ID is not right anymore. So the first thing we want to have is like I would just move that down here. It's called string title row.getString title. That's the title of the object, right? And then we want to have the year, which is an integer. That's why we are going to use that line here. Int year is equal to row.getInt year, and we have to put the first letter uppercase to make sure it's properly displayed. And also we can now print line that. Let's see if that works. Print line title plus maybe a space in between and then year. Let's see. Print line title plus year. Of course, there has to be a plus as well. Okay, what's wrong? Okay, of course, I have to rename it to the. Let's see. Okay, I have to save it first. Let's save this to my Livestream folder. I will call this timeline 02 because I created a timeline 01 yesterday. What did I do there? Oh, there was a template of another sketch I created. Don't worry about that. There was something different. But anyway, I will call it timeline underscore 02. Save it, and then I have to drag this file to that sketch. And the file was called liveline data. So let's see if we can pull it from Google Sheets directly. That would be amazing. I mean, imagine that would mean that people could fill a table in real time, and you can pull the data into processing at any time you want and create a visualization out of that. That's so nice. Stick, do you have an idea how that works? Pull or get CSV data from Google Sheets via URL. Share, publish to the web. So select files, share, publish to the web. Select the sheet you want to publish. CSV. Oh my God, that's cool. Let's see if that works. File, share, publish to the web. Oops. Okay, but I don't get it. Okay, so publish to the web. Machen Sie Ihre Inhalte für andere sichtbar, indem Sie Ihr Web bla bla. So können Ihre publish to the web, easy peasy. Yeah, that's great. Here we go. Amazing. Look. Here's comma separated values. I want to share this first. Great, that's so cool. And publish. Yes, I want to publish it. Wow. Look at this. This is amazing. So let's store this as a string. Let's call this endpoint because that's the right term that people use in software development. Endpoint equals to that. So an endpoint is like a point on the internet that you can connect to an application and it delivers data. Or we can also call it API, an application programming interface. And that would be the right way to put it, to call it, to name it, right? So let's see if that works. Oh my goodness, I'm excited. Illegal argument exception, no extension specified for this table. No extension specified for this. Oh, okay. So options has to receive multiple values. Look, because I think it's looking into this file and trying to find out what kind of file I'm loading. Oh, let me see. Okay. First, let's try to load the local file and see if it works. Yes, look, it works. Amazing. Right? So here we go. This is the data that we are pulling from the file. Now the problem is we are setting here. I guess that processing is reading that part of the. It's reading CSV and recognizing that we are loading a CSV file here. So if we set it back to the API, maybe let's see what happens when we say CSV here. Oops. Comma CSV. Ah, wow. Thanks. So helpful. Stick, you are the best. You are the best. So nice to. Okay. Header, comma CSV. So I can add multiple options to that string, through that string into the application. CSV, oh, CVS is of course wrong. CSV. All right. Loading it. Oh my God, it works. I can't believe it. This is so crazy. So in theory, we all could now collect the data. Maybe we do this in another live stream, like collecting data together, and then we can work with the data in real time. That's amazing. Oh my God, I love that. That's so great. My head is exploding of ideas now, what we could do with it. Maybe you saw, I want to highlight a project that I always find very inspiring when I'm speaking about Google Sheets. So Yevan Song is one of my favorite artists out there. I also made an interview with her. I will put that into the show notes. So this is the interview I did with Yevan. Where's my notes? Okay, here's the notes doc. This is her website, and she does a lot of collaborative. She does a lot of collaborative kind of work with Google Sheets. So that's really, really nice. She uses Google Sheets as a data source, and often asks her students in her work maps, which is crazy. Let me see. Can I find that now? Her work is just absolutely mind-blowing. I could speak about this for hours, but I'm looking for something very specific. I think this, for example, so what you see here, I think this is based on a Google spreadsheet. So this landscape here, right? It's based on, she created this with CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, but actually it is based on or the data comes from a spreadsheet from the internet, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, I don't find the project right now. I fear I can find it. But yeah, that is super, super cool. So she creates levels and maps, kind of maps that you can use to, and that you can create with Google Sheets as a map editor, and then walk through these maps in three-dimensional spaces built for the web browser, which is absolutely mind-blowing. I think this is the the coolest application of this principle of the tool horizon, breaking the tool horizon. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting lost in other topics here, trying to keep track. So we are loading the table here. We've got the data inside of our processing sketch, which is amazing. Great. Okay, cool. Now let's create an array of all the years that we have in, or of the time span that we want to cover. Let's say we have an int array, which is called years. And we will say years should be an array. And we start at 1990. Okay, let's just cover, well, that's something I forgot to explain. I'm just covering the 90s here. So this is very simplified, as I said. It's not really the Lifeline project. It's very, very simplified. We just cover the 90s. So the first thing is we have is the World Wide Web, whatever that means, and Napster. So maybe you've used Napster as well to download music illegally. Don't do that. It's very bad. It was very bad. I was super scared. I did that sometime, and I was really scared that the police going to come and put me in jail because I'm stealing intellectual property of musicians, even though I was buying a lot of CDs back then. Okay, just a side note. So let's create an array for the years: 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, 1995, 1996, 1997, 1998, and 1999. Whoops, 1999, and yeah, 2000. Maybe we can also add 1989. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so this is an array of the years that we have. Now the first thing I would do here is I would create a kind of a timeline. I would try to map these values to on the x-axis. I don't want to go 3D for now. I just want to go, jump and run mode, 2 dimensions from left to right. And let's see how that works. Okay, there's a long comment. I owe most of my musical culture to Napster. Yeah, Napster CDs had to be imported and were very expensive where I grew up. Yeah, same here. I was able to buy 1 CD back then, but maybe 2, but that was it. But actually it changed my behavior of how I listen to music. So to be honest, for me, CDs were like holy things. I bought them in a local record store, and it was very well curated. I was addicted to jazz back then and rock music and that kind of stuff. So I bought, for me, like CDs were really holy objects and things I really appreciated so much. And I listened through the whole album like dozens of times. And often I remember some solos and vocal lines from songs I heard like 15 years ago, which is super crazy. I miss CDs, to be honest. On Spotify, it doesn't give me the same experience, but that's another thing for another video. Okay. I'm super thirsty. Gotta drink something. Okay, let's take the years first and put them on a. Yeah, let's just create a like a line of events, line of dots. No, of the years. First of all we distribute the years on the x-axis, and then we can put these events from the sheet, from the CSV file or from the API as dots into that timeline. That makes sense, I think. Okay, let's try if that works. I'm excited. Okay, now we create a for loop. Yeah, we create a for loop. Int I equals to 0. The year from that array. Int y equals to years dot, well, years margin between the years. Let's say float m or a margin is equal to, let's say 50 for now. So I was thinking about distributing the elements to the sketch window, like, that they all fit in, but it doesn't make any sense because when the timeline goes 3D, the end of the timeline is very far away. So let's just work with 50 for now. And then I will create, I have to import a font to display that text. Where is it? Material, fonts. sans.otf, comma, and then the maximum font size. Let's set it to 1000, even though it doesn't make any difference. Okay, then we say text font should be font. Text size should be 20 maybe. Text line should be center. Fill should be white. Anything more? We don't need a text leading for now. Okay, I think that's enough. All right, cool. All right, and now we have to, we have to distribute it. Let's first of all maybe translate the whole system to the center of the sketch window. Translate width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. And here we go. So now we can say something like push, like creating a new matrix, pop, translate I times margin. I think there was a name. Yeah. I times margin is the x position and the y position should be 0. Let's see if what happens then. Oh, okay, of course we have to put the text here. So text. And then, are you still there, by the way? I don't see anything in the chat. Are you still alive? Just give me a, a hello or whatever. I just want to see that you're still watching. That would be great. Okay, text is y, comma, 0, comma, 0. And now we should see all these years. What's going on here? Error parameter or what? Oh, there was a semicolon missing. Okay, hello, nice, still there, amazing. I was so scared I'm alone now, but great, you're still here, that's amazing. Thank you. Cool, okay, what's wrong here? Type mismatch, cannot convert from int to int. Of course, I have to put square brackets here. Amazing, now it works. Great, amazing. That's exactly what I wanted, right? So the timeline now starts in the very center of the sketch window, right? And we have all the years going from 1989. Actually, we could do this much simpler. I think that maybe that was a stupid way to put it, to do this. I don't need an array of years because years are just integers that increment, right? But anyway, that's, lesson learned. Okay, cool, but that's fantastic. I mean, now we have this on the x-axis, but later on, just moving it to the z-axis, like turning this around and making this a three-dimensional thing where we fly into, is not that difficult from here. Okay, what's difficult, or what's more difficult now, is displaying the data, and that's what I want to do now. So let's say we just want to have yellow circles on the time or on this line when there's an event that's happening there. Okay, let's say fill. We set the fill color to yellow. And now we loop through that table. Getting lots of messages here. Who's writing? Oh, sorry. It was about the other live stream that I made last week. So it is now in the editing process, and that's great because I can share it soon on my Patreon. That's cool. Okay, looping through the table. Oh, that should be in the draw loop and not in the setup. Looping through the table. We already did this here, so we can do it here as well. Cool. And now we have, okay, this is nice. Okay, we are looping through the table now. After looping, through the years. Maybe it makes sense to write the logic a little bit differently than I thought. Let me think. So instead of creating a second loop and looping through all the events, we could also loop through the years and ask in the loop, is there something that happened in that year, right? Because here we have the year, and then we can ask the question like, hey, what happened in 1995, for example? I think that would be a little bit more elegant and easier to read. And also, we already translated the whole thing to the appropriate position, so we don't have to repeat that. We don't have to repeat the formulation of this line here. That's cool. I think that would be nice. Well, but that would mean that we have to loop through the tables every time the for loop is executing. So we would have to ask for every single year, is there something in the table? That means it would loop through the table every time Well, that I think both solutions are system for each year, right? And every time we will go through this. Okay, let me just put the coloring to the right spot here. So here we are, we are filling the text, and here we are filling the circle that we want to display later when there's an event. Okay, so now we are looping through the table row every time we are generating a new little year. We don't want to print line it, and we don't need that string for now. So what we need is if year is equal to y. Look, because y is the year from the array of the years, and year here, this variable year is the year that we get from that table. That means we have to say something like if, I mean, these are terrible variable names, terrible variable. That should be this is the title for my next live stream, terrible variables. Okay, we have to ask if year is equal to y. And I guess I lost some of you guys because you probably are not able to follow anymore. This is quite deep shit here. This is quite deep stuff. So we are doing something that is not really simple. But anyway, let's move on. So if y is equal to year, then create a circle above circle. Zero, comma, okay, this is the X position, and I just lift it up by 40 pixels and set the size to 20 pixels. That actually should work. Yeah, that should work. I will also deactivate the stroke here, and let's just run the sketch and see what happens. It takes some time to load what's going on. Oh my goodness. It's very busy. Wow, but you can see, right? Here we have the circles, and we maybe can create a mouse interaction to make sure we can move these lines, move these circles to left and right by, let's see, translate minus mouse X. But it takes a long time to load, right? This is, oh, okay, now. Wow, look, there's something inside each here, which is cool. Okay. Does it make sense? Is that true? Oh wow, look, let's see. Okay, 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, 95, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's say instead of 1998, we will change this to 2000. Okay, save it. And it should actually be updated live when everything works the way I expected. No, because there's still a circle. Okay, so it's probably taking some time that the online version of the table is updated. Let's see if that's true. Let's open the online version by going to that address here. Open it in a new window. It's saving. It's saving that file to. Ah, yeah, look, it didn't update. It didn't update it. Maybe that takes a bit of time until it's updated. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, maybe let's create a second function. Let's comment this out and say, here we want to have... Can you follow me anyway? I mean, do you feel like super overwhelmed by what I'm doing here? I have no idea how you feel. Could you maybe leave me a little comment on that? Because I think I lost some of you, but maybe how does it feel to watch a stream where you don't understand everything? That would be nice to learn. Lifeline data.csv. So I'm loading it now from the CSV file, and I will go to that CSV file now and delete these lines with 1999, 1998 and 1999, save it, and see if there are... Ah, look, this is perfect. Okay, now it's, you know, as you can see, here is no yellow circle anymore, but yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, it's working, actually. It's working. It's not updating in real time. So the Google spreadsheet is not updating in real time, but it's okay. That's fine. It's just how it is. Great. Anything new from the chat? No. There's a drum roll. There's a drum. That's cool. I didn't know that this emoji exists. I see you here. You look. This is you. Self-portrait on my iPad. Right? Great. Okay, cool. That works. That means we also could display the string from the table row called title to show the text. So of this event, right? Okay, Barry, happy to... Oh, Barry is here. Oh, wow. So cool. Hey, great. I'm just looking into the chat right now. Okay, you understand what's happening. I think this is the most important thing, right? It's not about, you know, you probably won't be able to reproduce this exactly like that, but, you know, that's fine. The most important thing is that you see the principles that I'm applying here. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, because that's much more enjoyable for you as well, right? So feel free to ask your questions. Okay. Int, no, not int, it is a string. I call it title, and get row, get string. Okay, string title, row, get string title. That's cool. All right, I will create a new matrix here, push, pop. So that means I'm creating a new coordinate system to also put the transformations that I'm applying to the circle here into the whole little matrix. So everything is just, how to say that, like translated when I also put the text in here. Does it make sense to you? I don't know. But okay, text, title. Yeah, look. We could rotate the text by 45 degrees to make sure it's not, you know, it's not overlapping the circles. So we could do this by creating another matrix, keeping the circle in that one here, closing that matrix as well here in the below, and then setting the position of the text to 0, 0, and say rotate radians -45. Let's see if that works. But we should be able to read the text. And some of them should overlap now. Wow, look at this. Right? Yeah. Great. So the thing is that the text, the text align is still set to center. That's why they are also weirdly positioned. We have to put the text mode here to left center. Text aligned, sorry, text align, not the text mode. Yes, exactly. And also pull the text a little bit to the top, -30. Right? Can you see that? That looks already pretty much like a timeline, right? So, wow. This is pretty awesome. It's working. So that means we are, yeah, this is great. This already works pretty well. Awesome. Really cool. I'm so happy that I learned this with the API. That's fantastic. Okay. So what's next? So we have this now in... I have an idea. As you can see, the things are overlapping. And to make sure that they don't, we want to pull the second element a little bit more to the top, right? Because we don't want the things to overlap. Okay, Stick is writing again. I think publicly published Google Doc sheets have to refresh delay. Yeah. Of course, yeah, that makes sense. They are not refreshing every few seconds. That makes sense, Stick. But actually, it's just great that this feature exists. It's just so helpful. It's so nice. It opens up so many possibilities for collaborative work, right? So some people can work on the data, some people can work on the visual. I love that. It's going to something I'm going to pick up in the future. It's just cool. Alrighty. Great. Okay, so again, we are inside of that for loop. We are looping through the table every time in the for loop, in the draw loop, right? Also in the for loop. So we are looping through the table. That means we could create something like a counter. Int count should be equal to 0. So when y is equal to year, that means, hey, there's a year, or it matches, there's something happening in the year. There's an event that has been taking place in this year. We could say something like, place it to the appropriate position, but then count up by 1. Count plus plus, right? So the counter is adding 1 to the variable. So when it's 0, it adds 1, that means it is 1. From here, we can say, we translate the text by -40 times count. That means the second element inside of that year will be pulled 80 pixels to the top and not 40 anymore. Let's see if that works. Boom. It works. Oh my goodness. It works so nicely. You see that? So each year now has, or the years with multiple elements. Oh, wow, I love that. That's so cool. Now I would like to make sure that the typography sits in the right position. I can zoom in here, but maybe you see that the text is not really bound to the point here anymore. So let me think. Count is 0. Actually, when count is 0, it shouldn't be dragged to the top anyway. Or am I dragging the text here? Oh, wow. Okay, I'm dragging it here as well. Okay, got it. That means here I want to set it to 0. That means it's going to... Yes, that's what I want. Okay, perfect. And now I can just move it to the right, 20 pixels. Right? That works very well. And now I have to drag the whole thing here a little bit to the top with, you know, the stuff with the whole system. Yeah. Let me see if that's true. Because I don't want to, I don't want it to be overlapping the years. That was wrong. So minus 50, minus 40, minus 40. That's probably the right way to put it. Yes, here we go. That's great. Amazing. And as you can see, it works now. As you can see, 1998 is not, there's no data in here anymore. So let's just go back to that document and set it back to 1998. So in a few minutes it should be updated. Let's see if that's true. Also, let's maybe extend the margin to 150 to make sure we don't have too many overlaps on the horizontal axis. Look, now it gets much simpler to read. This is beautiful, isn't it? Yes, amazing. Maybe I just want to make it a little bit more bold. Height divided by 2 plus height divided by 4. Yeah, that's great. So this is really beautiful, I think. Even though there are still overlaps, probably we have to extend it on the we have to extend the margin between these years. Otherwise, we cannot avoid these overlaps. But yeah, actually, it just works, and I'm so amazed by that. That's really cool. Okay. Just make, Stick writes, just make count equals to 1 as default. What does it mean? Count equals to 1 as default. Okay. You mean that it's not... okay. That's cool. That's cool. That's a good idea. So I don't need to make this calculation here, right? All right. Okay. But I will keep it as this. It's just running. That's fine. Great. Cool. Okay. Now I'm thinking about the following. As you can see, we are distributing these elements now on two dimensions, like, you know, on the x-axis. You can see it on my on Patreon and also my website. And in this version, I would like to make it 3-dimensional. So I will go to size. This is the function where I set the renderer from P2D to P3D. And since I'm working with text, I need to set the shape mode to text mode to shape, to make sure I get crisp fonts. Otherwise it looks very crappy at some points. Some characters are not really nicely rendered. Okay, same result. This is exactly what I expected. Okay. Now instead of distributing the things on the x-axis, I would like to distribute them on the z-axis. So Let me just go to my website, I'll show you something. Courses, the third dimension. This is my course on 3D and processing and 3D matrix basics. So this is the coordinate system, right? We have we have y and x. So y is the vertical axis and x is the horizontal axis. But there's also another one when we enable the P3D renderer, the three-dimensional renderer in processing, which is z. That means we can place elements now in the depth of the scene. So it's not anymore a canvas like a two-dimensional canvas. Now it's a scene where we can place things, and we also will place a camera later. But okay, step by step. First of all, yeah, I think putting the camera into the scene is a good idea, because then we can change the perspective from a very front view to a view from above onto the scene, right? So we'll copy that piece of code from my course, right? So the camera is a lesson from my course, the third dimension. We'll copy that code snippet. That's always how I do it. I just store my code snippets in my courses. That's so handy, right? I just go to my course and then just get it from there. Okay, we'll put that into here. Also, I have to fix something. I think because the perspective has to be adjusted. Since, let me see. Thomas is also there. Hello. Oh, Kiel is also there. Hey, everyone. Wow, this is a very nice, very nice audience. It's amazing. Let me see if I have the perspective function anywhere here on my website, because there's a hack I need to use. Oh yeah, that was from another live stream where I created this digital world. I think some of you guys have been in the stream when I created this visual here, which was crazy, like something I created in, I think, 4 days or something. Stick, the idea of putting the sketch into these elements themselves was your idea, right? That came from you. So nice. Okay, great. Here's the code from that. So I have to go here and just copy paste the perspective function here. This one that makes sure that things are not cut in the periphery. So the thing is that in processing in 3D spaces, there is a huge black a huge rectangle. In this case, it's black because it's called background, very far away, but it cuts at some 1,000 pixels in the depth of the scene. It just cuts elements, and that's why we use the perspective function. This is the hack we need to use to how to say that, to disable this feature. Okay, the camera is now set to standard, where everything should be the same as before. Yeah, wait, let me think. This is the function we have to put the code into. So right now, no, that's wrong. What I'm doing here, I'm losing control here. Okay, this is the place where we translate the things on the x-axis, right? So I have to cut that out from the x position and put that into the z position to not distribute it on the x-axis, but on the z-axis. Let's see if that works. Whoa, it works already. Nice. Can you see that? Oh my God, it's already working very well, actually. Wow. Okay. Wait. Let's see. That's a very surprising result, actually. I didn't know that it's already so nice, so working so well. Let's create a function. Let's make sure we can move in the scene. And for that, we create some keyboard interaction. Void key press, sorry, not void key press, but here. We say if key pressed, when the key is pressed. So if key is equal to W, so we will create a kind of a very crappy WASD navigation. Then okay, we need a variable which is the position on the Z, or the camera position, or let's say the scene position. Let's just call it position. Float pos equals to 0. Pos plus equal to 20. And then if key is equals to s, plus minus equal to 20. So that means here we can put that variable. I'm totally losing concentration, to be honest. It's very difficult for me right now to do all this at the same time. Oh yeah, cool. Stick says, we desperately need P5's orbit control in processing. Ben Frey-Casurius, are you listening? Yeah, guys, that's true. So orbit controls are really handy. They are built into Three.js. I didn't actually know that they work with P5 as well. So that's really cool because then you can pinch and zoom into things, and it's really a great way to navigate in 3D scenes. And actually, it would be great to also have the possibility to create a WASD navigation. Oh my God, look at this. It works. We are flying through time. Can you see that? That's absolutely amazing. I can't believe it. So I can go through, wow, this is so nice. Okay. So a WASD, WASD control is what people use in computer games, right? So W is going to front, S is going backwards, and so on. It's really nice. And there's a very cool library called QuiziCam, which implements that, but unfortunately not in a configurable way. That means you are bound to some things there. Oh, Olinga is also watching. Great. Hello, Olinga. Hi. So cool. Olinga is making the cut for the first video, which is amazing. Thank you so much, Olinga. And I didn't watch it yet. I have to do that. Cool. Okay, let's check it again. So the thing is that we are now flying through the scene. Maybe we can make it a little bit more interactive by creating the possibility to move the eye of the camera between left and right. So plus map mouse x, comma 0, comma width. So we are controlling the ix position, comma minus 400, comma 400. And that should give us some control over the position of the angle. Yes, here we go. I love that so much. This is amazing. This is just amazing. I love that. And I think this is even a fantastic result for the stream. I didn't expect that we come that far, to be honest. And when I just remember how much tech we dropped onto that project when we created this Lifeline project back then, it was absolutely crazy. So that was really, we used IntelliJ and created, I don't know what kind of stuff he wrote into that IDE. It was really strange. And this is a very simple, and actually a very aesthetic version of that Lifeline. Cool. Nice. All right. I gotta say, I'm super happy and I'm really exhausted already, to be honest. This is so draining to do all these things at the same time. But maybe you can ask some questions about it. Maybe you can just put something into the chat. I never did that yet, but feel free to ask me something about it and I will answer your questions here. Let's try that. Maybe that works. I don't know. And in the meantime, I will put my... Thank you. I will put my my beautiful script into that sketch. Utilities, so TRCC, utilities. It's a piece of code I drop into every sketch, and there's a beautiful video renderer in it. Or it just utilizes the video export library. And it's here, right? Utilities, and all I have to do now, I have to go to the draw loop in my in my sketch and say rec 30 frames per second, and I want to export, let's say 720 frames. And now it renders a video in real time, so we can. It's rendering a video right now, right? So I can post this on Instagram or whatever. Use it in my courses. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. So good. Okay, great. There's something on the chat. Jill said it was very enjoyable. Yeah, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it as well. Actually, to be honest, you know, recently I gave lots of talks, and to be honest, I feel very, very convenient now. Or for me, it is not really difficult anymore to give talks. I'm not too nervous anymore. And this is really a crazy experience. But this time, when I started this this live stream here, I was really nervous. Like, I was like, okay, is this going to work out? Isn't this too difficult? Didn't I want too much at the same time? And I see, no, it works. Especially through the chat, I can get your help and communicate with you, which is just amazing. So for me, that's a wonderful possibility to also learn about your questions and get feedback to my projects here. Great. Thank you so much for the positive feedback from the chat. It's awesome to hear. All right. Since there are no questions, I think, maybe we can just end this stream. And I say thank you so much. I will go live now every 2 weeks. That's what I'm planning. Maybe not in a very regular rhythm, but I'll try to go live every month, like 2 times. I have loads of things on my list. I will even publish a Google form with the question of what kind of streams you would like to see. So what kind of projects and things I should build here. And I'm very happy to hear from you what you would be interested in. If you have something that you would like to see how that works, I'm very happy to show you that in a future live stream. Of course, subscribe to the channel and make sure you don't miss any of them. But I guess you already subscribed, otherwise you wouldn't see this, I think. So that's it from me. I wish you a fantastic weekend as well, and looking forward to see you maybe in 2 weeks. Bye bye, and all the best for you. And now I will go to YouTube and hit this button here, and then we will be disconnected. Bye bye, see you. Thank you for tuning in. Bye bye. Bye.